You are tuned in to another edition of Americana Music Profiles, brought to you by Americana Rhythm Music Magazine and AmericanaMusicMagazine.com. I'm your host, Greg Tutwiler. Let's jump right in to the next exciting interview. It took a brush with cancer to get Phillip Pappas' mind off of a career in physics and focused on a career in bluegrass music. He and his wife Lauren now form the duo Mountain Natives, and their debut album, Essential, is filled with songs born from a place of gratitude and hope. Mountains of adversity can be thrown into the sea is their motto, and they are my guests on this next edition on Americana Music Profiles. So hi Phillip and Lauren, welcome to the podcast this afternoon. It's good to be talking with you guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
And you guys are in Dallas, Fort Worth, is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, awesome. So you have an interesting story, and I definitely want to talk about that here in a moment. But if you don't mind, Phillip, give me some quick background leading up to about your music, leading up to the point where you and Lauren met each other. How did you get started?
Absolutely. Well, I started playing guitar when I was 16. Got a nice little electric guitar. It's like a little Stratocaster. And I was playing around and just like garage bands and stuff like that with my friends. And I ended up graduating with my bachelor's in physics and my minor in math. And I was looking for a physics job. And while I was doing it, I ended up seeing a lot of people come into work, and really they didn't seem very happy until they started talking about their vacation.
Yep.
And I realized that I didn't want to be that guy who really lived and existed for his vacations. I really wanted to enjoy working, whatever that is. Whatever I work hard at, I'll enjoy. I wasn't really sure where that would take me, and I ended up meeting Lauren, and we wanted to do music after that, and that really helped because she noticed this big old mole on my shoulder, and she said, "Hey, I need you to check that out."
Mm-hmm.
So I figure I'm a guy. I've got all kinds of hair and moles and stuff. I'm a guy, whatever. I go into the dermatologist, and he ends up, he cuts it off, he biopsies it, and I find out that I have malignant melanoma. And
wow.
I was only 27 at the time, and I really didn't want to join the 27 club.
Right. Yeah.
So I ended up having, surgery for it. I had a bunch of people pray for me, and they cut me open. I've got this nice 5-inch scar, and I'm cancer free, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like it didn't spread. It didn't go anywhere.
That's great.
But after that, thank you. After that, I realized that Lauren and I we should definitely do music together and enjoy life and have fun doing it. And so that's why our band is called Mountain Natives, because we're native to obstacles and we're native to troubles. But we believe that even if you have a burden on your shoulder, you can absolutely overcome it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's an awesome story and a great testimony. Lauren, were you playing music? Had been involved in some sort of music prior to you guys meeting initially?
Yeah. My dad has always been a musician. He has this penchant for white Stratocasters, and he's got my grandpa's 1965 Martin, and I would always play those when I was, hanging out with him, and he got me a guitar when I was 14, and I kind of taught myself and would jam with him and would songwrite, and Phillip and I actually met at an open mic in Texas.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that. That's cool.
Yeah, and I was going to school in Georgia at the time, at the University of Georgia, and I was visiting my dad in Texas. And so he and I actually didn't get back together again, like meet again, until I moved back a couple of years later.
Wow.
Yeah, so, but we had met, and, well, I guess stalked each other on Facebook.
So obviously you kept in touch when you went back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, did we? I guess we kept the connection, but I don't know if there was any correspondence.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I just have like a lot of people, you just have a bunch of friends on Facebook that you don't really connect with on a daily basis.
Sure. Yep.
Just pop up. But when she Facebook messaged me just out of the blue, then it was like, who's this girl?
Yeah.
Well, you remembered me enough to find me.
Absolutely.
You're like,
yeah.
what's your name?
Yeah.
So you guys were playing together. How long before you recognized that you had this medical mole that you needed to have investigated?
6 months.
Yeah, about 6 months.
Yeah.
We had played some smaller shows at coffee houses and other places, but yeah.
So the influence of your music is this? It's Americana. It's got some kind of old time folk, maybe a little bit of bluegrass flavors in there. Is that how you would describe it? What do you guys call it? What do you do? What's the inspiration behind the songs that you guys do?
Yeah, so we generally like to play mostly acoustic. I usually play acoustic guitar, and Lauren plays a charango.
I'll tell you about that. A charango, you would say charango.
Yes, charango.
Charango. It's a 10-string instrument from Peru.
Okay.
Similar tuning to a ukulele, but all the strings are doubled. And sounds more like a mandolin because it has more strings than a ukulele, and then a rounded back, so it catches the sound and pushes it forward a little better. It's really pretty.
All the strings are nylon.
Is it hard to play? Harder than any other particular stringed instrument?
I'm a tiny person, so it's easy for me to play. It's small, and a lot of people, when they hold it, they're like, wow, this is very small and awkward because the head of it has so many keys that it's heavier than the body of the instrument. So there's this awkward, whoa, I wasn't expecting the weight to be on that end. Let me try to get a hold of it. But it's not awkward for me. It's actually a lot easier because it fits me. I'm small, so it's small, yeah.
What made you pick that instrument up?
I traveled to Peru in 2006 for a study abroad, and that was my major, was Romance languages, Spanish and French linguistics. So I speak both Spanish and French, and I don't know, I was just really connected to the culture there and loved even the flutes and the other nylon stringed instruments. And so I got it while I was there, and I just taught myself how to play it.
Yeah, and I feel like we try to be really we have some songs, older songs from our last record, like Bird Like You, which was more jazz influenced, and with the charango, it lends itself to almost like a bluegrass kind of vibe, which is really exciting. And for the record that we just put out, We Call Each Other Home. We work at a studio in Dallas called Drive 35 Studio, and the owner, he's actually his family's from Mexico, and he can play congas. And so we just said, hey, it would be awesome if you would play congas on some of these songs. And so it added a little bit of a Latin flavor, but it didn't go so far as to sound Latin. It had kind of like a I think American music is all about that mixing of cultures, like in Memphis, where you had so many different cultures connecting to create all those styles. And Yeah.
So where did so I'm guessing that you grew up in Texas. Are you a Texas native?
Yeah.
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 So the mountain, and you kind of alluded to that earlier about overcoming mountains as part of who you guys feel like you are at this stage with overcoming the cancer. I'm wondering if there's a dual meaning though. Does where does the other aspect of the mountain influence come in with the folk bluegrass tendencies that we've been talking about? Kind of leans itself to mountain influenced music. Is that part of it as well for you guys?
Absolutely, yeah. We absolutely love a lot of those old Appalachian style music. It's gorgeous and incredible.
Where did that exposure
Oh, yeah.
come from for either one of you?
For me, there were some radio shows late at night that would play.
Yeah.
And it was
Okay.
just really fun to just have those have that on and just listen to it. And it was just so much more different than everything else that was on the radio. It was really exciting. But I was actually born in New Mexico. And
Okay.
so we would go back. We go back every year for Christmas, and there's something about like it takes for us in Dallas where there are zero mountains.
Right.
you just drive and it gets drier and drier, and then you start going through the mountains, and it's this incredible. I mean, it takes 10 hours just to get basically from Dallas to New Mexico, all the way through El Paso and that, and it's a gorgeous drive through the mountains. And so we've always just loved like going and seeing my grandparents and hiking in the mountains. It's a really special time.
Yeah, yeah. The music that's on. So you had a debut album called Essential. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out in 2015.
And then tell us the name of the new one again.
The new one has 5 songs called "We Call Each Other Home."
And are these originals for you guys? Did you guys write these songs?
They are. We got to write them together.
Yeah, that's cool. So tell me about that a little bit, the writing process and how you guys write together and where the influence is coming from for these songs.
Yeah, I feel like with any co-write, you have your ups and downs, and some songs are just special. They're just supernatural. They just happen super easily. And we've got a couple of those. I feel like "We Call Each Other Home," which is, the featured song on the album. That one was just super fluid, really easy and joyful to write. And then you have some that, you work on it. It's a process. And I think for us, when we write, we'll write together, and then we'll separate, and then we'll go and kind of get our own ideas and then come back together just through the dross of the silver, so to say, and kind of refine everything.
I noticed on the some of the songs that there was more than just a couple instruments. When you guys play, are you playing predominantly out as a duo, or do you bring other musicians in? Do you have a band that you travel with?
Yeah, both. We like to travel with the band, and not every show can kind of support a band, but it's always fun to have more. Like for Two Sides of the Same Coin, it has drums and bongos, and it's hard to get both a drummer and a bongo to every show. It's kind of fun though.
Yeah, I imagine. What kind of venues do you find yourselves in? Where do you, and audience wise, what do you feel like? Where does your audience fall? What type of audience finds your music most?
It's been mostly like just young creatives who are really interested in like just pursuing like their calling in life, whether that's